this.
That was weird. My connection dropped for like 10 seconds.
First world problems.
Here we are.
Hello, world.
Hola. All right, you want to sync us up, Mike?
Yes, okay. Everybody ready? I don't see a bowler.
Oh, is he not here?
He's
Did he
here.
drop?
No, he's still there.
I see him frozen.
He's
Oh, there he is.
hiding.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
He's just moving slow.
Alrighty. So,
in
three.
case Cephas doesn't know,
Yes.
on the countdown we do a glory hole. So.
Well, we don't technically do a glory hole.
Yeah,
We
that's not
we
too
say-
bad.
We don't.
glory
Oh, you can leave. Go.
You can-
no,
you can
no,
let
we're
him-
not
let him-
actually. No.
Let the
We're not. Jesus, just go. Thank you. I'll pay you later. Go.
exactly.
Three,
let the altar
two.
boys out of the room.
Nobody? Okay.
Anyone?
Alright. 3, 2, 1. Glory
Glory
hole.
hole.
Okay.
All right.
There we are. Okay. Wow.
Let me get my notes and
Classy.
we'll
If
do the
ever there was a
intro here.
waste of bandwidth, there it was.
That's right. All right, here we go. So welcome everyone to the Irreverent Skeptics podcast, where we still need theme music. We'll get that one day.
Bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-da-da-da.
So with us today are Carlton George,
That's me.
Michael McElroy,
Technically.
technically, Mike Bowler,
In spirit.
and from the Bitch Spot Report, Cephas.
I'm sort of awake.
Welcome to the
Awesome.
show, and I'm John Omby.
I like your
Today
line in
we
there,
are talking
Cephas.
about first world problems, and oh, do we have so many of them.
I ain't got no
We have,
first world problems.
A couple of our members couldn't make it today. Not sure all of the reasons. One of them is having internet problems. So
Which is
speaking
a
of
first world problem.
It is.
Yeah. And I know it's
Can't
Erno's
make it to my
birthday today,
podcast
so-
recording because my internet's down. First world problem. So what are first world problems? KnowYourMeme.com describes first world problems as also known as white wine with an H, as frustrations and complaints that are only experienced by privileged individuals in wealthy countries. It is typically used as a tongue-in-cheek comedic device to make light of trivial consequences or inconveniences. Sorry, I make fun of trivial inconveniences all the time. I'm well aware of my complaints are first world problems. They're still complaints though. So I thought it notable that apparently white girl problems became something that sprung out of the first world problems, which are problems experienced, generally only experienced by privileged white adolescent girls. And some of those are just, I won't go too deep into those, but some of those are just downright hilarious.
Cadillac, but I asked for a T-Bird.
Exactly. Daddy won't pay for a boob job.
Hashtag my life sucks.
FML. So I have a list of some common first world problems, and please throw in extras if you have something to go along with this, because these are some of these are better than others. Here's one of my common problems: my earbuds get tangled when I take them out and put them in my pocket.
Oh,
I know, isn't that terrible?
that was
So put
horrible.
upon. I am so put upon. In the summer when it's sweltering hot outside, but you go in a movie theater, house, restaurant, store, and it's so cold you feel like you have to put on a jacket. If you're gaming or watching TV and your wireless controller or remote control, the batteries start dying, so you have to actually get up, go get new batteries or change the channel. It's just such an
That's
inconvenience.
horrible.
I know you put down your half gallon of soda and your plate of fattening snacks and get up and walk, and then you risk your heart rate going up. And
I think you're missing
cardio
the
exercise.
Mountain Dew gamer fuel.
I
What
never
about-
think of
I mean, do you know how much stress it causes when you go to the drugstore? And I just can't decide between what kind of condom I want to buy. The colors.
Too many kinds.
Colors are just overwhelming.
I mean, do
there.
you get the colored one? Do you get the ribbed one? Do you get the one with the extra spermicide? Do you get the one with the little nubs on it?
I know. And then you've obviously gone through and tried them all, but I never mind. I'm not going to go there. But
You're a dirty old man, Carlton.
it's like my cell phone. I mean, how do you expect me to take photos with only a 10 megapixel camera on the cell phone?
right.
Practically caveman, John.
It is. I might as well just scratch it on the wall.
How about I go to the ATM to get money, and it only gives me 20s, and I wanted smaller bills. I wanted 5s and 10s.
Well, I thought all the bills were the same size.
Zing!
Uh,
When the sun glares on the screen of your phone, tablet, or laptop when you're outside trying to browse Reddit.
Or your forehead, for those of us that, yeah.
yeah.
It's a reflected glare.
The stores in your city stop carrying your favorite flavor of soda, or like in my case, I like Coke Zero Vanilla, and they stopped carrying it. Oh, what a hassle!
That's horrible.
It is a problem. Or here's one that I experienced this. I went to visit my girlfriend in Pittsburgh, and they sell that in Pittsburgh. It's everywhere in Pittsburgh. You can go buy that at any store in Pittsburgh. Come home and it's nowhere. It's gone. I'm very bothered by this. I should write and complain, I suppose.
No, just order.
I guess I don't complain
off
enough.
Amazon, come on.
I don't complain
Can you
enough.
order
I
that
don't
on
think
Amazon?
these days.
I'm sure you
Take a look
can.
for that. So here's one. Starbucks doesn't have a shortened name for your favorite 9-word long coffee concoction. Don't make fun of me. If I go to Starbucks and order my favorite Breve Triple Grande Sugar-Free Vanilla Soy Latte, people just look at me like, what the fuck? I'm like, I know. There's no shortened version of that. I feel as ridiculous as I sound ordering it.
Yeah. I think that the only first world problem I can think up for myself is my cable package will charge me more if I drop the cable and just have internet.
Yeah, there you go.
Huh. Really? That's more expensive?
Yeah, it is.
I have the most basic cable package.
You get that
and
little
combining
triple
that.
package deal, yeah.
Yeah.
I get a weekly email and leaflet, like in the mail out, telling me that this is my final opportunity to take advantage of the 200% refund on ordering phone, cable, or phone, television, and internet through AT&T. I only have internet, and I pay $35 a month for just internet, and if I go through that other deal, I can get $200 back, but I think I end up paying like $150 something per month.
How about they move the school bus stop, and I've got to walk another block to get the bus to take me to school. I know it's sad.
There are so many problems with what
The
you just said.
computer lab at school has computers that are only 2 years old.
Here's when you start watching back episodes of a new series, and when you get caught up, now you have to wait till next week before there's a new episode.
Yeah, that's horrible.
That's tragic. That'll bring tears to my eyes.
That's the tragedy of binge watching right there. Or having more clothes than you have room for in your closet.
Yeah,
Or
not being
not
able
enough
to
hangers.
not being able to decide what microbrewery to go to tonight.
So this organization that tries to bring clean water to people in third world countries put a video on YouTube called First World Problems Anthem, and it's a video of
that sounds good.
people in third world
cringeworthy, isn't it?
reading off first world problems, and one of them is like, I hate when my phone charger won't reach my bed, and it's this little girl standing in front of a dilapidated schoolhouse with a beat up school bus behind her and in the middle of nowhere.
You have to watch that. You watch that, and I watch that and have to have a moment of
Self-reflection.
God, I'm a dick. I'm really a self-absorbed dick, aren't I? I still complain about these things, and I'll still complain about them later. But yeah, that is certainly perspective.
Can't find a parking place on Black Friday, to go, buy my Christmas gifts for everybody.
There's a kid in front of an old, beaten up, rusted out shack that says, I hate when my leather seats aren't heated.
Nice.
Yeah, that is horrible. No, now
Uh,
I've got the seats that are air conditioned. That's even better.
That's going to be a short episode today, isn't it?
It might be. We have a few other things to talk about.
I got a few what
See,
the
here's
fuck
one.
here
Mention Netflix or Hulu or some other video streaming service, and God forbid you want to go back 30 seconds or so. I missed the last minute, so let me jump back a minute and see what I missed. And the buffering, the never-ending buffering
Buffer of
happens.
death.
Yeah, basically you just have to start it over. How dare you miss a moment of what you're trying to watch? Now, someone like Carlton's connection, you may not have that problem. I don't know. I'd be interested in hearing. You have you're about to have a gigabit connection.
Well, we watch. If my son is here, we're all three of us are watching Netflix on the same connection at the same time on different shows. So yeah, it's not a problem.
Is that a closet back to your left, over your shoulder?
Yes.
I'm gonna set up camp in there since you have such a good connection.
They're actually technically both closets. His house is symmetrical.
Nice.
I live right here. This is it, buddy. This is my house.
He's a midline kind of guy.
This is my house. That's right.
This one, interestingly enough, so this was put on our list of problems.
I don't have a riding lawnmower.
It says the cable and internet shit the bed, and when you call to get info about affected areas and projected repair times, they tell you to visit your internet provider's website for more information.
What?
And what's great about that is Brandy put that up, and her internet shit the bed just before the show. So now she's not able to join us.
Take that, Pittsburgh.
That's right.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've had that happen before. You call up your provider, and it's like, for more information, please visit this website. Well, fucker, if I could, I would. That's why I'm calling you.
Yeah, I'm not calling you because I wanted to fucking talk. I'm not wondering how your day is, asshole.
Yeah, it's even worse when it's like your power is out and they tell you to visit the website. It's like, no, I can't. I don't have anything. I'm in the Stone Age temporarily. So, except for myself.
I don't personally have this problem, but if you have an Android device, apparently some people have serious problems getting their Android device to sync to their mail.
Yeah.
Their Apple Mail, really?
Yeah.
I was thinking, I mean, one of the tortures here is that I can't really enjoy online gaming because my speaker system doesn't have a subwoofer, and so the bass is really pretty shallow.
The cannons sound way too high pitched.
It's not very realistic at all. It really, yeah.
The poor drums sound like snares, and I just don't like that.
My level 40 elf warlock doesn't have enough +1 armor. So I don't know.
Yeah. I can tell that the threads on the bottom of my sneakers are getting slightly worn. The coloring is the price sticker is wearing off. I need to buy a new pair of shoes.
Oh yeah, there you go. There's a first world problem I've had. My sneakers that I have had all of my life and never had to worry about walking barefoot anywhere are wearing thin.
I have a problem. These nice running shoes that I wear make this weird squeaking noise when I walk, and I'm very put upon.
Well, that's because you stole them, right?
Yeah, I get annoyed at the little when I go to Walmart. I always manage to get the one cart that goes thrum 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 as I'm going through the store.
Or has the little
has one wheel exactly.
Last time I went to the store, I had that problem, and I'm walking down the aisle, and I guess they've been using them to stock stuff, and there were a few of them sitting there. So I wheeled up there and put mine behind the others, and I was browsing around the shelf for a minute, and then I walked out and grabbed a different cart and walked off with it. Solved that problem. I was very proud of myself for being so clever.
Ninja shopper.
That's right. I imagine some guy in the security office watching me just shaking his head like, what an ass.
Most of us do.
Right. That is a common thing.
Yeah, speaking of Walmart, there's another first world problem. Is I really get tired of having to show a receipt to prove I didn't steal shit.
You legally don't. Yeah, you don't have to. I don't know. I have feelings of that. There are times when I'm just not in the mood to have to deal with something. But at the same time, if you're like, no, I'm not showing you my receipt.
I do sometimes.
The poor old guy there at the door, he's just doing what he's told to do, and he probably doesn't know that you don't have to show the receipt.
But see, at our Walmart, I usually show my receipt, except they've got one greeter who's actually blind, and so I always say here, and then I keep moving when he reaches out for the receipt.
Oh, good fucking lord! Why is he even asking?
You just hand him a piece of notebook paper, there you go.
Now, years and years ago at a Walmart, there was this one lady who used to chase people into the parking lot going, I have to see your receipt! Yeah, fuck you, bitch.
Say, come on, here it is. Like a little carrot and stick, and you keep running away faster. Come
I
get
never
it.
show them that. It's like, you
out into traffic.
Tie it to the antenna on the back of your car as you drive away, see if she can catch up with you.
My technique has generally been
fast enough that she can't quite catch you.
My technique has generally been
Test
to
her
look at
conviction.
them and just start speaking in a foreign language, and then they kind of let you go.
There you go. That's
Japanese or Russian or something. I don't know.
Well, they can't stop me anyway. I just walk right past them. It's like, you want to see my receipt? Good. I want to see the contents of your wallet. Not going to show me? Oh, well.
You know what I want to do is I want to get a receipt printing machine for the next time I go. So before I go, I'm going to print me a receipt, and on the receipt, all it's going to say is, I stole this shit. And then when she asks to see my receipt, we'll give her that one and see what happens.
Just have it print out something like six tubes of lubricant,
exactly, 6,000 condoms, some KY jelly, a little, yeah. There you are.
I'm having a party. Leave me alone, lady.
I think not having a riding lawnmower. I mentioned earlier. I think that's a first world problem. Definitely. I got to get out there in that hot sun and actually sweat and work.
You have a heart attack doing that.
Yeah. Well, I don't need a riding lawnmower because I've got gardeners and they take care of it.
So you have the first world problem of, I got to go out and pay my gardeners, but I'm a little overdressed. I should probably put on something that I don't look So
Well, it's like, I mean,
No. Actually, my gardeners need a riding lawnmower. That's the problem.
there you go.
yeah, see,
So
problem
I
for
looked
me
for
is that-
some news stories
Oh,
for
okay.
first world problems. These were kind of hard to find, except I found a number of pieces where there are people saying, yes, first world problems are only for the privileged people, but we shouldn't feel bad about complaining about those things because, I don't know, there were a wide variety of reasons. And I guess I kind of tend to agree and disagree with that. Like, yeah, there's still nuisances. Like I live in this society that has these things, and so when I'm irritated by them, I guess I feel justified in complaining about them. I am aware though that these are a lot of the problems I have are very specific to privileged society. I don't know. I guess I have a little bit of cognitive dissonance there. On the one hand, I don't want to complain about it. On the other, I am irritated by it.
Well, I mean, it's you don't have to refrain from complaining about something just because it's something somebody else doesn't have to deal with. I mean,
Oh, I certainly don't.
what else are you going to do if something interrupts your normal standard of living? You know, you're going to respond negatively to it. So, I mean, I can understand that it's the whole first world problem thing is just trying to give you a sense of perspective, not really telling you
Sure.
shouldn't ever complain. So,
Well, first world problems, right? So, like when you go to the restaurant and say, "How do you expect me to eat this steak? This isn't rare. This isn't, this is well done. You mixed my vegetables on the same plate. I told you I wanted them separate."
okay, Elijah.
I totally didn't get that Elijah reference.
Yeah, me neither, but it still sounded funny. I
Mixing
laughed
your
anyway.
vegetable, I don't know, mixing meat and milk and all that. It sounds like
Yeah, well, that
kosher
was-
rules to me.
That was the old parents' things, right? Think about all the starving people in India. And
I'm trying to remember if my parents said things like that.
I can't tell you how many tons of food I volunteered to send to India because of that statement. And they don't really care.
Now that I've thought of them, I'd like to not eat this.
Yeah,
I wish my parents would have been like, really? Another plate? Really?
Yeah.
I was a fat kid for a long time.
Yeah.
A little coat.
So as a software developer, I tend to think of myself as pretty, relatively tech savvy, and I'm very much like my tech toys and my technology, and that brings me up to my John rant about why the technology I love fucking sucks, and boy does it. I have ceaseless problems with all these technological devices that I love so much.
You must be using a Mac.
Actually, no. In fact, if you could prove to me that using Apple devices would cure me of all these ails that I have in my technology, I would consider switching at this point. I'm aware though of people, my peers and friends who have them, that they have some of the same problems I have. So
Which one do you hate the most?
Oh, which one do I hate the most?
Which device do you hate the most?
I hate the whole company. So
Jesus. Oh man, that is hard to pin down. I guess I love and hate my smartphone the most. Here I am. I'm living in the 21st century, and I have this handheld device that has more computing power than like the first space shuttle had, or computers I had access to when I was a teenager, and it does all these wonderful things. I can have access to the world's knowledge base in my hands, and I open up my browser, and all I want to do is open my browser and type in a URL or a search term, and it stutters, and it stops, or it crashes, or I try and switch from one app to another, and that hangs something up, or something fails. I try and listen to music, and suddenly, oh, we can't stream this music that you're listening to. Did you go from your home connection to a 4G connection? Well, there's going to be some downtime while we switch from that to another. And one other thing is I'm trying to play I have an Xbox, and I play Xbox with my friends, and I'm in a game, and I'm like, oh, here's this person I've run across. I'd like to send them a message mid-game. So I open up the menu, and I go over to this list of people you've recently come into contact with. Oh, there you go. So I'm going to scroll through this list to find this person. But wait, you can't just scroll down and find that person, because not only will they list the names, you have to have this cutesy little fucking avatar picture, and it takes forever to load all this goddamn information. Like, you could just pipe me just the name of these people so I can more quickly find them. But no, you got to give me all this extra bullshit. I have to wait for that to load. It's a pain in the ass. Now I'm behind in my game where I've died, and I have to respawn. My internet is constantly up and down. I go from a 1 megabit connection to a 22 megabit connection with no seeming cause, no rhyme or reason. So one moment everything's fine, next thing I'm on Skype, I sound great, or maybe I'm all pixelated, my sound is horrible, or I just drop the call entirely. My computer, I get on my computer and I want to do something, and I load up Chrome on my computer, for instance, and Chrome doesn't want to load anything today. Oh, it just killed, a process has died. I have to restart Chrome, or I have to restart my computer, or this other app. It doesn't want to work either. It's just one problem after another. And my last one that I'll complain about is my GPS on my phone. For fuck's sake, my GPS on my phone. Why the fuck can it not know where I am? And when it finds me, okay, I wait. I will wait for it to find me. I will wait the half a fucking hour for it to locate me. I'm standing out in the middle of a field in clear skies, clear view to the GPS satellites. Okay, you found me. Now track me for a few minutes. Oh, am I suddenly in fucking Texas? How did I just go 300 miles in 30 seconds? Fuck, that's annoying.
Fucking first word teleportation.
First world problems, people. That's why the technology I love fucking sucks.
In my home country, every day we have to fight wildebeest for water. It's terrible.
Oh man, that is. I feel for you
and
now, John.
sometimes the wildebeest she win, and the children she die, but it's okay. It's
okay.
life.
We got another child. Yeah, so we got another one on the way.
I have this dream that moving somewhere that has Google Fiber will solve so many of my internet problems, and it's nice to hang on to that dream. Although I'm aware as soon as I get that, there will be other issues.
Fiber,
my connection. Well, my connection will be screaming fast, sure, but then what I connect to, the server I connect to, may not be so fast. So yeah, this seems awfully slow, but I suppose then I can blame somebody else and not myself, or not more it's not my service. It's someplace else. I don't know if that will make me feel any better though.
Damn you, AT&T.
Damn you, AT&T. I feel like someone from AT&T is going to catch wind of this and be like, oh, you think it's bad now? Well, one of the things is my internet speed seems to me, the performance I have now is worse than when I first got broadband internet service. And it could just be a matter of perception. I probably do a lot more on my connection now than I did at the time. Let me rephrase that. I think that my service has degraded over the last few years, at least over the last 5 years. It seems that everything runs a little slower and takes a little longer to load, or things will die a little more often. And I kind of understand that that's how technology can work. You keep adding new features on top of things, and it's little nuisances, and it's death by 1,000 baby duck bites.
Yeah, there's a first world problem because every 2 weeks I've got to reformat my PC. It's probably not
2 weeks.
I do it about every 2 weeks.
You're doing something wrong.
No.
Yeah, really.
No. Because I do a lot of development, so I'm always getting crap that I only need for a single project, and I hate having extraneous shit loaded on my PC.
I think we need to introduce you to the world of virtual machines.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
I
virtual
hate
machine
that's
would do
even
you
worse.
wonders, man.
That's even worse. I don't know. Because then you got the then that's sucking up resources. So when I don't need the virtual, I don't like virtual machines either. It only takes me a couple hours. It's not a major.
It takes 5 minutes to set up a virtual machine.
I take my 2 hours. I like my freaking 2 hours every 2 weeks.
Is this when you do your meditation?
In my day, you had to change the disc out between
when I do exactly.
In my day, you had to get the reel-to-reel running.
I got to make sure all the porn is gone. So.
It does tend to gunk up everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, so to speak.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on. There we are.
That's good.
My oh my.
All right, so are we ready for the lightning news round?
Lightning round.
Mike, Bowler, are you gonna read these stories, or do you want me to this time?
Lightning round. You better read them.
Can we use that for a segment for that? That was fantastic.
Definitely.
Lightning round!
This is dead. This is just total dead air right here. I should look and see if we have Q&A. I bet we have a bunch, or just one. Hang on. Okay, so we have Stephen Gilbert says, does owning a horse count as a first world problem?
I'm pretty sure a lot of third world people own
think
horses
that depends
too.
I think that depends. If you own a horse because it's the only way you can get around, that is not a first world problem.
If you own a
the
horse
problems
because-
associated with owning your hobby horse are irritating to you, that is a first world problem.
If you own the horse because you don't have a freezer to keep the meat cold otherwise.
If you own the horse because you're going to teach it to dance for the Olympics and it breaks its leg, that's a first world problem.
What is that called? I forget the name of that.
Dressage?
Dressage.
Mitt Romney.
All right, Mike, you ready for the lightning round?
No, actually.
Okay.
I'm having a first world problem myself here for some reason.
Well, I will read these off then.
Do it.
So how we'll do this is I'm gonna read off the news story and just I'm gonna summarize what the news story is about, and we'll just go from person to person and get a real brief take on what they think of it. So our first story is man claims to be the first to kill a Bigfoot. I believe his name is Rick Dyer, who was known a couple years back for his Bigfoot carcass hoax, has claimed he's killed a Bigfoot, that scientists have proved that this is a Bigfoot. They've done DNA testing and whatnot, and he will soon go on a traveling show so people can see the evidence and the photos. And I guess
that's how science works.
Right. So, Carlton, your thoughts?
Well, if you don't have DNA from something that you already know is a Bigfoot, what good does DNA testing actually do you?
Mm-hmm. Michael McElroy.
Okay, I read this story. Tons of fucking red flags everywhere. This guy claims to have gotten it tested at a university in Washington somewhere. Doesn't name the university. Nobody from the university is calling into the media to support this guy. This guy pulled a hoax off 5-6 years ago, and he says, no, now for sure. This is a real thing. Looked at the pictures. This thing's eyes and mouth could never possibly have opened. They're clearly sealed rubber. There's like a seam in the front of this thing that it looks, I don't know, it's supposed to be an autopsy shop, but sure as hell looks like a zipper to me.
All right, Mike Bowler.
It's the same old story. It's just a lot of, I don't know what would you call it, but just this this guy, he's done it. He's hoaxed us before. He's probably hoaxing us again. That's all I got to say about it.
What do you think, Cephas?
Well, I mean, let's be real honest. This is not how science works. You do not go out and have some university someplace verify something that you can't really verify, and then take it on a traveling road show. You put it into peer-reviewed journals, etc. And that's obviously not how this guy is working. And let's be real honest. He's done it before. He's doing it again. Anybody who takes it seriously without solid scientific evidence is an idiot.
Snopes has already categorized it as false, by the way.
Yeah, one thing I loved, I was reading this and I was like, okay, so he used 200 pounds of ribs or something like that. Like he used a bunch of spare ribs or something to lure the Bigfoot.
Pork ribs.
And then so he lures it, traps it, and then kills it. If you're gonna trap a Bigfoot, why would you trap it in the first place if you actually trapped a Bigfoot? And also, if you intend to trap and kill a Bigfoot, boo on you, you asshole, anyway. That's kind of what I think. So our next story, scientists have thawed and hatched eggs of water fleas that were dormant for about 700 years. They're little tiny aquatic animals, been lying at the bottom of a lake. I don't remember what the name of the lake was. I'm standing trying to find it.
Woebegone?
Yeah, sure. So anyway, they've managed to hatch these 700-year-old eggs of these aquatic fleas. So Carlton, thought?
None. Next. I'll take that. All right, Mike Bowler.
I read a story. I thought it was brine shrimp that they did, because they can survive out of water, and then you can revive them. But there was like an issue.
Do you have to do CPR? That's going to be tough.
Actually, just add water, and they come back.
Those are
maybe these are two different stories. I guess.
I thought maybe you had to give them mouth to mouth or something.
Brine shrimp are the incredible, amazing sea monkeys or whatever, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess they can last for. At least this story, it seemed like it was like. God, I'm trying to remember. Maybe it's the same, but I thought it was brine shrimp, but it's something along that lines, and they can do that, and.
It helps that these things are relatively small and somewhat simple. animals. I mean, if these were like macroscopic things like ducks or pigs or whatever,
Dinosaurs or what have you.
they're not coming back to life after
I
700
found
years.
it was South Center Lake in Minnesota.
It was Minnesota. Okay.
Minnesota, eh?
Minnesota, eh?
And if I offended you by that impersonation, get over it. So,
Too bad.
Cephas, your thoughts?
Well, the first thing I was doing while everybody was humming the Jurassic Park theme was going, "Oh, look, it's Microscopic Park."
And I was sitting here thinking, I've heard this song before somewhere. Where was that?
That's a first world problem, right there.
That isn't that.
I cannot identify this music. Yeah, this is nothing really that surprising for something that small. I mean, if it was a large animal, certainly that would never happen, but, not too surprising, I guess.
So this was in the finally something uplifting in the news story here in Lilburn, Georgia. A man who had been in a traffic accident and was due to appear in court lived 29 miles away from the courthouse, and on the coldest day, and a record cold day, coldest day in nearly 2 decades, he woke up and left his house at 1 a.m. to walk 29 miles to the courthouse. Police officers, after hearing the story, sprung for a cab to drive him home, which actually a 30-mile cab ride is kind of expensive. So myself, I think, hey, that was good on you guys. We don't hear enough stories of people doing nice things, and certainly in the news, not enough stories about police officers doing nice things. Carlton, thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the article right now. It was 6 degrees out when this guy walked that 30 miles. Yeah, and the cab that was $80. So
it was 10 degree below zero wind chill.
So this is this is sort of a plus minus. I am curious. Did the judge still give him a ticket? I mean, did he get out of his ticket at least?
It didn't say.
It's kind of a bitch.
The story I read didn't say.
It's kind of a bitch if they pay for the $80 cab ride and give him a $160 ticket. But I think that's a nice thing. I mean, the cops that sprung for it probably aren't the ones that arrested him, hopefully.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that's nice. Nice to see that happen every now and then.
Give them some donuts.
That's right. Does that count as your thoughts on it?
Yeah, is that... Oh, his or mine? Okay. All right.
Yeah, that'll do.
All right, Mike, what do you think?
The same thing, it's kind of nice. We always hear nasty stories about the police and
Tons, yeah.
tons, and finally hearing a good story. Shame there isn't more good stories than bad.
There probably are. They just don't surface as well as the negative stories do. Cephas, thoughts?
Well, my question is, all right, did the police actually pay for this, or did they just throw it on the taxpayer bill? And number two, if they're a bunch of cops, why don't they just throw the guy in the back of the police car and drive him back home? It's got to be cheaper than $80.
Well, I bet that's what they couldn't do. Yeah, they probably can't use the police car for taxi service.
Here, I'll tell a
in there.
personal anecdote. This doesn't answer the question of whether or not they use taxpayer dollars. However, I have a friend who I'm not in contact with him much anymore. Years ago, I was on a ride along with this guy, and he comes across. Well, let me restart that. So we're in the car. He gets a call about some guy was caught trying to shoplift some food at a local convenience store. So he finds the guy walking through this neighborhood, stops him, talks to him for a little bit, listens to the guy's story, asks him, what are you doing? The guy's like, I'm just hungry. I haven't had anything to eat in a day or so. And so rather than giving him a citation or arresting him, puts him in the back of the car, drives him over to McDonald's, walks inside with him, buys him a couple meals worth of food, and tells him, hey, knock that shit off, and leaves. And I was like, so how often do you do stuff like that? He's like, every now and then. It's like, it's hopefully that the guy will remember that next time and not go try and steal something. And I'm thinking, you don't hear enough of things like that. I'm sure that happens plenty, and you just don't hear about that as often. So.
Well, maybe the guy will go and do that again, and he's just expecting the cop to feed him next time.
Yeah, it could. It's not something. It's not easily knowable, I guess.
Yeah, well, next time he'll be hanging out in front of Ruth Chris.
Nice.
Can I get a baked potato too?
That's why they're not some fries off of Five Guys.
Okay, so here's one that hits close to home for me. So there's a proposed law in Oklahoma by Sally Kern to prevent students from being punished for chewing a pastry into the shape of a gun or other imaginary weapons, like playing cops and robbers with your fingers as guns. So
toy bear claws.
Yeah, so some of us may be aware that there's been stories of kids being suspended or expelled, pretending to play violent games using using guns or something like this, and I don't know. I guess it is ridiculous, the idea that a zero tolerance policy would mean kids can't play cowboys and Indians or cops and robbers. At the same time, do we really need a law like this? It just seems to kind of fly in the face of common sense.
Well, yeah,
Carlton.
yeah. I mean, these are, the teachers, right, or the school administration. These are the people that are supposed to be teaching our children how to do critical analysis and how to be reasonable and how to think, and they seem to have, their problem seems to be worse than anybody else. It's totally absurd. I mean, is there now have the schools hired a special monitor to hang out in the cafeteria to handcuff anybody immediately who happens to bite into their pizza in such a fashion that when they pull it out of their mouth, it looks like a Smith & Wesson?
That's talented, by the way. If you can chew a Smith & Wesson out of a slice of pizza.
I'm trying
also,
to
I
find
just want to
the
know that this has not been a problem here in Oklahoma. Like the case that she was citing for this is something that happened in Maryland. We've had.
Are you kidding?
As far as I'm aware,
I do remember.
There's no
hearing that
cases
story.
that's having happened here. I remember hearing that story, but it hadn't happened
didn't even
here. This is
happen
like
in her state.
preemptive.
This is kind of like
Right.
those idiots who are passing laws saying that we can't pass Sharia law, as if that's actually going to happen or being proposed anywhere in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I that's just bizarre. I mean, has anybody died from a pizza attack recently?
I don't know. I mean, you freeze
Even
that
in
stuff up, it's
Maryland?
kind of pointy.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, it gets really ridiculous. There was the one case where the deaf kid, whose name in sign language looked vaguely like a gun, so they wanted his parents to change his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're out of your freaking minds.
I was about to be okay with this story until you told me that that the original incident didn't happen in her state. I was like, I can kind of see this as a tongue-in-cheek response to a ridiculous overaction of a school. But if it didn't even happen in your state, what the hell are you doing?
You wonder where our tax money is going.
But this is Sally Kern, who has a history of some pretty crazy stuff, though. I remembered her name, and I remembered back in 2009 she tried to propose something called the Oklahoma Citizens Proclamation for Morality, which talked about how, let's see, one of the quotes from it. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the undersigned elected officials of the people of Oklahoma, religious leaders and citizens of the state of Oklahoma, appealing to the supreme judge of the world, solemnly declare that the hope of the great state of Oklahoma and of these United States rest upon the principles of religion and morality as put forth in the Holy Bible. And goes on to talk about Jesus Christ and salvation and all this stuff. This is kind of a crazy woman. She says she says that she understands the separation of church and state, and that homosexuals are a worse threat to America than terrorists.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll never hear me saying anything in defense of Sally Kern. That's for sure.
Who elects her? Where? I mean, is she in your county there, John?
No.
She is a state
she's in my
representative.
county.
A state
Yeah.
rep.
Where
Okay.
though?
I'm trying to think. Is she in my county? No, I don't believe she's in my county. No.
Okay. Just worried if you'd been voting for this girl.
Yeah, I covered her on my blog back in 2009 when she.
You know what
did
really
that
is scary?
ridiculous thing.
You know what's really scary is if she keeps getting elected because she's the lesser of two evils.
Well, here in Oklahoma, that's
That's possible.
all you have to do to be the lesser of two evils in Oklahoma is just don't be a Democrat. And
The less
pretty
holy
much.
than thou.
yeah, that's here in Oklahoma. I think in the last 2 elections, we were the most red state in terms of voting for presidential elections, or just maybe in general. It was just like a complete sweep of all Republican voting.
It's one big giant glowing red aura coming from all the necks. So.
Wow.
And one thing I'll say, like that, this reminds me of, if you hear some people, like some of the podcasts I listen to, will talk about, they'll have a more liberal slant and talk about conservatives or Republicans, and specifically in how horrible they are and how uncaring they are. It's like you wouldn't get that impression if you took politics out of your interactions here in Oklahoma. You would just think, wow, these are some of the nicest people I've ever met. They're all so friendly. And, politically, our political ideas here, the state's political ideas in general tend to fly in the face of many others. Certainly fly in the face of many of mine. But yeah, the way the people are really nice, at least. So say again.
Isn't Westboro somewhere in Oklahoma?
That's
No.
Kansas, I believe.
Kansas, I think, yeah.
Kansas.
Okay, I thought they were in Tulsa for some reason, but no, that's not right.
I think that Kansas is like northern Oklahoma, I think.
Topeka, not Tulsa.
Sometimes I call Oklahoma North Texas.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, they're so similar. There's not much difference. So let's take a few minutes to talk about bitch spot reports since Cephas is here. So Cephas, tell us all a little bit about your show.
Well, me and Mike, wave Mike.
Yep.
There he is. There he is. We run a weekly podcast. It's all these stupid religious political nonsense that you care to laugh at and bitch about and feel really bad about. And we spend about an hour and a half complaining about all the really, really stupid things that go on in the world. And by the end, we want to slit our wrists and stick our heads in the oven. And that pretty much is it.
I was
That works for me.
graced with the opportunity to appear on your show for the most recent episode. That was
The one
was
that just
all
went
kinds
up
of fun.
yesterday, yeah.
I brought some seriously disgusting humor to the show. That was fun.
You know, that's not.
You
That's
saw
not. That's
what
not.
we named the show,
I mean,
right?
I mean, technically here, John, can you actually appear on a podcast?
Well, you can't
He is right
hear.
now.
Like you can appear here.
Well, I
suppose.
suppose that's okay.
I have a spot. I had a spot on the bitch spot.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you did see what we called it, right?
The bitch spot.
No. John Lumby delivers dick jokes.
Oh, did you really?
Yes.
No way.
Yep.
Well, I certainly did that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and we have not had any dick jokes here today. No, yes, we did before we
have
started
some.
recording the glory hole jokes. Yeah.
Yes.
So there we go.
Oh no, we were live then.
Were we live? Oh, excellent.
Yes.
Well, so there's that.
Come on, we were doing stories.
We had
We
Michael.
were doing
Sticky-
stories about people getting in fights over the Ten Commandments.
Oh yeah, and then as we realized they were in a hotel room, so yeah, then there was like talking about
Drunk in a hotel room, yeah.
yeah. So the lady hits a guy in the face with a Bible. So we kind of assume it's the Gideon's Bible. To which I said, you know,
Wow.
if it's in a hotel room, then you got to imagine there's probably remnants of jizz all over that.
If it was a Marriott, then it could have been a Book of Mormon.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Marriotts are all Mormons. They
hear-
they put Books of Mormon in their hotels.
Huh? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Here's a tweet that'll be a conversation stopper. This guy says, evolution is the solution for those who think that God is an illusion, but that would be an absolution of the devil's intrusion. Wow.
I love when they try to sound deep by rhyming things. It's very cute.
This is
Can you read that again?
I can. I don't know that I want to.
That was a brain fuck. Let's hear that
Yeah.
one more time.
It says evolution is the solution for those who think that God is an illusion, but that would be an absolution of the devil's intrusion.
That makes no sense.
And that person that wrote that, I just want to say, you can't English language.
Well, this is his Twitter name is Bible Sage. So if
Yeah,
you want to
I
write to
know
Bible
Bible.
Sage, knock
Reminds me of
yourselves out.
a billboard I saw driving through town recently. It says "Try Jesus" and it has this gangsta-looking white guy with a skull cap on, and it's wiserthansolomon.net is his website, and apparently it's some local upstart church or something. And you look at his blog, and all of these categories have 10, 15 posts in them. Suddenly, you look at the Proverbs category, 2,315 posts, and it's stupid shit like, if you wear your shirt during the winter, you won't have to wear it during the summer. What the fuck does that mean?
Well, unless you're in Australia.
Or, a wise man makes his money work for him instead of working for his money.
So there's that.
There's that. That guy. I looked at that this morning and I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah.
So there's
Bible Sage is not the brightest tool in the shed, unfortunately.
I'm gonna have to check this out. I've never seen it before. I tend to avoid on people I follow on Twitter. I tend to avoid things like that that would just irritate me or make me think, the fuck is wrong with you? I suppose it'd be good for fodder for the show to look at things like that, but I guess I tend to avoid them and something like Twitter. And also, I don't get on Twitter often enough. I don't know if that's the case, but I'm not on Twitter that often. Every now and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I have an account. or I better check one of them out.
Well, there you go, John. I mean, there's another first world problem, right? There's nothing. I get so tired of Twitter banning me.
Abiogenesis.
Why are you getting banned by Twitter?
Being blocked. I hate that. Well, on Twitter, if you troll a bit and you send messages to people that you're not friends with, if you do it too much, and nobody knows what too much means, so at some magical point, Twitter suspends your account, and then they unsuspend it a couple days later. You know, it just being a pain in the ass.
So it's like anti-spamming
kind of
measures, I guess.
Yeah, except they don't ban the spammers. The spammers just get to do whatever the hell they're going to do anyway.
Yeah,
or now if you're a company and you, or maybe even a person, but if you pay whatever the fee is, you can tweet things to everyone, and you have no whether they follow you or not. They will see it in their feed whether they follow you or not.
Right. Yeah. There's that idiocy.
That makes you think of one of the things on the internet, I guess, that is certainly a first world problem is, like ads on internet sites. I understand why they're there. People want to get paid at the same time. Like, they're very intrusive, and it's a pain in the ass. I use an ad blocker because fuck that shit. There are some sites where I'm like, I support this site, and I'm okay with them using ads, but most of them I have an ad blocker because they're just fucking annoying. It's just something I don't want to have to deal with. I remember the internet before it was as monetized as it is now, and I'm not foolish enough to think that it was always going to be that way or wish that it would go back to that. It'd be nice if it would return to a less monetized model, but I know it's not going to, and on days when I get very irritated by that.
Hey, Michael, here's what I heard today. You should research this and see if this is true or not. But the way it was presented sounded true. They said that between 10 o'clock, I think it was between 10 o'clock and couldn't have been that. It had to be noon. Between noon and like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Netflix is responsible for using 1/3 of the total bandwidth in the United States.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
That's incredible. Yeah, I know. I mean, it sounds reasonable, but Jesus, that's a lot of bandwidth.
Considering that they pipe HD and they're calling it Super HD, I don't know what that really means.
Yeah, to millions of homes or hundreds of thousands of homes. Yeah, that's incredible.
So I want to take a few minutes to do our what segment next. Brandy had submitted quite a few of these, and I don't want to use all of hers because I want her to be able to go over some of them with us next week when she's here. So just grabbed a couple of others. One we might talk about with Dumbass next week is his one about Quantum Man. So you can leave this in. You can leave this part in.
I looked at that asshole today, and I was just screaming at my television as I watched this stuff.
Okay, good, because then we'll talk about that. So we'll do the segment then. So now for our segment for what? Some stories that make us either in a positive or negative way look at it and go, what? Or what?
What?
So first, Dumbass submitted this one for us to look at. It is quantumman.com, and the idea behind this is you don't need traditional medicines from anything from homeopathic cures to actual, scientific medicinal cures. What you need to do is download cures for everything. Digital medicine. Michael McElroy's head's about to explode. Mike, what do you think?
So I looked through this guy's website, looked at a couple of his videos, a couple of his things. It looks like I couldn't figure out if he's actually saying, because I've seen stuff like this before. I've seen people sell a device and they say that it's energy medicine and you put your hand on it and it reads your symptoms. But this guy is literally saying all you need is a fucking computer. You don't need a device or anything, and you download a portal access key, which unlocks a quantum portal to the repository of cures at this guy's Zag, I guess is his company, at his headquarters, and it'll send you medicine for whatever ails you. And all the proceeds go to a charitable foundation to investigate a private charity that will investigate more medical cures. But he has shit on here, like if he was just saying this is stuff that'll help you relax or feel happy, if it was just placebo shit, that would be fine. But he talks about having flu vaccines, malaria vaccines, stroke vaccines, something to help repair your kidneys. He has something that says it will cure AIDS. Fuck this guy in his eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw the kidney one. That was on that Star Trek movie, wasn't it? Remember when McCoy gave that little old lady the little pill there and to restore her kidneys and get her off of dialysis? Remember when they went back for Spock?
Yeah,
or not Spock,
Star Trek.
No, the Earth, the one on... God, Mike. Whoever was talking.
I think that was Cephas.
Yeah, no, I was. Star Trek 4, the one with the whales. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
This fucking guy.
Yeah. Well, my question is, if he's actually claiming that he can cure these,
Oh yeah.
shouldn't he?
Prevent
Once
and
it's
cure.
proven that he can't do it, shouldn't he be put up for malpractice? I mean, shouldn't he be open to lawsuits? Because he's not claiming this is something that might help you. He's claiming he can actually cure AIDS.
Prevent and cure all sorts of illnesses. Yeah. Yeah.
So anybody who uses this and gets an illness that's on his list, shouldn't they be able to turn around and sue his ass?
Oh yeah.
I'll be right back, I guess.
Well, the FDA should be able to go after him.
Definitely. I mean, I
One of
got.
those deals where you look at it and you're like, is this a joke site?
Is it a joke?
Real?
I would hope it is, but I mean, he's got, and what's great is down the side of his website, he lists all these conventions that he's been at, as if they're supporting him. I'm guessing he just showed up at the door, set up a little table outside, and tried to hawk his stuff to people.
I was there. What did they think of you there? I was there.
Yeah, and apparently you can use your cell phone, convert your cell phone to a personal medical tricorder to diagnose and treat your pet! He's doing the pets! Fuck this guy! Seriously! Stroke vaccine, malaria vaccine, meth rehab.
I read a lot of
prevention?
sci-fi, and this guy, he's good. He could be a good sci-fi author. Well, I don't know about good, but
Yeah.
Quantum chiropractor. There's a fucking downloadable quantum chiropractor.
that's like meta-woo, isn't it? That's woo
Yeah,
about
that-
woo. That's
Quantum weight control. Oh, I love this one. Q Food. A complete balanced diet of pure data that feeds the starving or helps manage the overweight patient. Feeds the starving. I really hope this guy is a joke.
Let's see
I
that
really,
one.
really
tested.
do. There's something on here that's only $5. I should try. I should try and see if I can actually buy this. I swear to God, I want this guy to burn, just like in a house fire, fall asleep with a cigarette in his mouth, falls down, catches him on fire. You know, spontaneous human combustion. I'm sure he'd be up for that.
I have to say I tend to agree. Maybe not quite as harsh, but yeah, I tend to agree. That guy,
Yeah, I wonder
that
if
guy
he
is a
has an app
fucking.
for that.
That guy's a fucking problem. Is there an app for that?
100%
You can download the fire that you're going to burn it. DownloadableDamnation.com. TM.
Since he's got all these wonderful cures and all that kind of stuff, he could probably say, you could probably get him to create one to cure burns. So let him set himself on fire, and then let him use his quantum computer program to heal himself. And if he does,
I
if
see
that
what
works,
you're doing. That's like that's kind of like the whole download this and see if your computer's broken. Now that you downloaded it, your computer's broken. Would you like to fix it? Yes. Well, now your computer's broken again. Would you like to fix it again? I see what you're doing. That's a good pay model.
Yeah.
All right, so next one that's a little less anger-inducing, I hope. Scientists can levitate stuff and make it fly around using sound. Say what? So Japanese scientists have created this device, a setup that uses sound waves, and they take these hundreds of tiny plastic balls, and just using sound waves, these things are floating, and they can move them around and manipulate where they move in this space of this deal. The contraption that they have for this, and the idea is that this technology could be used to move a number of things. I would guess anything from little tiny objects to huge freight or something. I don't know. I did a little bit of reading about this, and it's pretty fucking interesting to me. Things like this are really fascinating, and it makes me feel like it's going to be the future here pretty soon. Since we don't have our jetpacks yet, it'll be the future next year maybe.
Yeah. Where's those damn flying cars?
That's right. I saw also, I think it's a team from MIT recently that they had a deal for, as I recall, so you're using telecommunication devices, Skype or something similar to that, and it's a deal where you can manipulate objects on the other side of whatever connection you have. And they showed a deal where it's like they have a ball and they're using their hand, they're rolling this ball around in their hand, and if you're like, a large percent of people on the internet, the first thing you think is that'll revolutionize internet porn. Those webcam sites are going to have a whole new dimension now, aren't they?
Hey-o.
Ew.
No.
Can we get a sad trombone on this one?
Well, now
So
you're gonna make me go find the damn thing.
I'm sorry, but I'm stuck on this fucking asshole's website still. He talks about how he uses
Let it go,
quantum
man.
teleportation to teleport the data into your brain's quantum computer.
Well, I didn't know I had one, but okay.
Your brain is a quantum computer, you see.
Ah, I didn't. Okay.
Wow.
So sort of like the Matrix, right? Put the little helm, plug it in your
You know
neck.
Kung Fu. Here we go.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw this video, the video of the whole levitating with sound thing. I thought that was pretty nifty.
But how does that? I mean, I can see how it works, but what's the loss in other words, how efficient is that? Because it would seem like you would need an awful lot of sound just to move a ping pong ball, and anything of any weight, you think you'd be blowing out people's eardrums.
You have an array of speakers, like a three-dimensional array of speakers, and it can only lift things like small grains of sand or particles of styrofoam and stuff like that. So
Okay.
it's not lifting big objects, but it's more like it's just a proof of concept at this point.
Okay.
It's possible. I don't know if it's even scalable, really, but you need a hell of a lot of energy to lift anything that has some real mass to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think to myself, like, what is the practical application of this? And I don't know that really matters.
Because we can.
Yeah, because we can. Well, here, one thing they said on the side is one of the practical applications is if you're working with sterile things that you want to move but not touch. That's an idea, I guess.
Very, very light sterile things.
Right. Well, right now it'd be very light sterile things. Maybe as research progresses, they're able to move.
Well, maybe that'll be like we'll use that for moving little nanobots, that we're going to inject.
Sure.
Okay. Hey, I'm trying. Okay.
I'm sure. Like that, I see that. Yeah.
Was that one of your nubile young slave girls bringing you food?
Not exactly, but yeah, sure.
Okay, here's one more that Brandy had shared for the what.
I mean, nubile, yes, but I have a hard time with the slave concept because she won't do anything I ask her to do. So
the beatings aren't working.
They are not.
So 6 disgusting things about giving birth that you need to know, and I'm not going to read. I'll gloss over all of these points.
I just got my food.
Oh, I know. This is great timing. So
Perfect
Shut off
timing.
your microphone so we don't hear you.
because it's the very last one that I want to just go what. That's the one that made me go what, because most of them I'm like, yeah, I know about this, and even the last one I'd heard about, but I was like, what? So some of the things about giving birth that you need to know as a woman. Of course, this is lovely. It's 5 guys talking about giving birth.
I can pretend.
One is passing blood clots as part of birth. Another is the mucus plug, which I'm not sure if I'd heard of that or not, but something about when your water breaks, and there's also a mucus plug that I guess had kept the water from like that's
Yes.
when the mucus plug comes loose, I guess, is when the I sound like a total nincompoop now.
It's what
moving
seals
on.
off the uterus and the cervix. Yeah.
Yes.
The next 2 points are about poop. I guess poop during labor is something that's common. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Hemorrhoids is another problem. And the last one, the one that made me say what, is your placenta, more specifically the eat your own placenta after birth because it's fucking good for you. Don't be a pussy, just do it. Like that was the gist of what this. I was just like, say what?
Good
Yeah,
time
that's
for
kind of
meatballs.
Oh,
bullshit.
it gets better. So people will, really hardcore people will have it blended raw into a smoothie and just down it.
Sorry, that sounds like bullshit to me.
Hang on. But I'm admittedly a bit of a pussy, and I wanted to draw out the many benefits as long as possible, so I had my placenta dried, ground up into pills, and popped those things for months. It helps replenish your body of lost nutrients, balances your hormones, which will be spinning out of fucking control in the days, weeks, months after giving birth.
Why not just
Helps
grind it
mitigate
up?
postpartum depression and help your boobs produce valuable titty leche.
Well, yeah. Why not just grind it up and
Wow.
and use it as a spice on your food?
How
And mix it in
about-
with a little salt, a little pepper, and a little placenta.
Wikipedia's the
just
rescue
some
here.
eggs or steak or something afterward.
Placenta paprika.
Some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
There have been no scientific. People say that it's supposed to help you reduce pain or whatever. There have been no scientific studies which shows that placentophagy enhances analgesia in humans.
Well,
You don't
see,
say.
There is.
this is a first world benefit. We don't actually need to eat placentas to survive, so this is a good thing.
There is no medical reason to eat the placenta. Let's see here.
Yeah, that's just wow. I
There's-
don't know what to say about that.
There is
If you loved me, you'd eat my placenta with me.
Yeah.
human placentophagy is its own article on Wikipedia.
I don't know
What
that
doesn't have an article on Wikipedia?
crickets. I don't know. I think everything does.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, animals do it, but
Mark
Come
Crystal. Why is that name familiar? Mark Crystal, professor at State University of New York at Buffalo, wrote his 1971 doctoral dissertation on why animals eat their placentas. He stated, "People can believe what they want, but there's no research to substantiate claims of health benefit. The cooking process will destroy all the protein and hormones. Drying it out or freezing it would destroy other things.
Yeah.
And there's a risk of spreading bloodborne illness."
We're
Well,
not
if you
going
eat
to
your
end the
own,
show on this
that's
topic,
an
are we?
issue.
Are we going to have a show on placenta eating?
No, I said no. I said we're not going to end this show on that topic, are we?
No. Okay. How's your placenta pancake there? By the
the
way,
last
My pancake is really good, and the meatballs, the little fecal balls, are delicious.
fecal balls. Forget to
Excellent.
cup the fecal balls.
Well, I guess we're kind of going to end the show on that note because I don't have any other stories to talk about. But we'll do our final thoughts. So, Carlton, any final thoughts?
No, I you know what? I mean, once fecal balls came out, I don't think it's going to get any better than that. So, no comments.
I know.
Nothing else besides, just leave me to my fecal balls and cream.
Michael McElroy, final thoughts.
I'm broken. I'm sorry. The fecal balls got to me.
I thought it was a quantum man.
If anyone tells you that their medicine is quantum, kick them in the balls or ovaries.
Ask them how much Deepak Chopra they read or listen to.
Yeah.
'Cause he loves quantum anything. He just likes throwing those words around. Mike Bowler, thoughts?
Oh, I don't think I have any. All week I've been experiencing these wonderful technology breakdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 2 days behind on putting out my show because I could barely get onto Wi-Fi. My phone, I haven't been able to get email. Email's been like 20, 30 minutes behind. You know, it's like, egads.
First world problems.
First world problems.
Cephas, any final thoughts for us?
Other than a lot of really stupid people out in the world, but that's nothing new. I mean, that's something we all go through every single day. No, not really.
All right, then. So, Mike Bowler, your next episode of Skeptic's Guide to Conspiracy, what you got coming up next?
Well, I'm starting my 9/11 stuff, so I just kind of went through all the
9/11 was an outside job.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was outsourced.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, they got a couple guys from a call center.
Thank you. Come again.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You get a better rate that way. Work might not be as quality, but it's less expensive.
They work cheap. And the job market is just exploding for that sort of work.
Yeah, that's a first world problem right there. You know, all of our pilots actually have to learn how to land the fucking plane.
And you don't have to get in at the ground floor either.
Oh, fuck.
All they got to do is get it in the air and turn the wheel. I know.
An 80th
Promise
floor
them they're
office.
virgins in heaven and they're good.
We've offended all of the nobody listening or watching. So, Cephas,
a nice
Bitch Spot
office way out
Report.
of the
What's
building.
coming up next for you and Mike on the Bitch Spot Report?
We're still working that out. We've got some really bizarre stories that are coming up this next week. And if you thought what we did last week was weird, just wait. We got some better ones. Otherwise, it's just more attempts to induce suicide in ourselves, and we'll kind of go from there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to land another spot with you guys on there soon. I had an excellent time.
Hey,
hoping to do it
anytime.
again. Yeah.
Anybody who wants to be on, come on in.
Yeah, I'll volunteer. I don't know what I've not seen one yet, but if you need a warm body, anytime.
Yeah,
We just did
Carlton's
episode
good.
46, so they're out there.
Where I brought dick jokes and other goodness.
Being funny.
So for Irreverent Skeptics, next week we are talking about gun control. So
That'll be fun.
yeah, I'm hoping some of you guys have passionate views on that because mine are pretty neutral, moreover. And Cephas, if you have a solid stance one way or another on gun control, please come back with us next week and tell us about it.
I'll do my best.
That's going to be it for us for today. So I want to thank Cephas from the Bitch Spot Report for joining us. I want to thank MC Frontalot for allowing us to use First World Problem in our show.
Word.
And thank you, Tom and Cecil from Cognitive Dissonance for the audio clips for the What segment.
Yes.
And that'll be it.
Glorious.